Right?
You prefer to start in the fourth?
As early as possible, in my opinion.
In the last 2 semesters.
When the students came, they were talking to me that they've already decided on their
phase
project.
1 of the project.
Yeah. So that happens during the 4th year.
Yes.
Which is good. We start in the last year, and students don't have enough time to do a project.
I thought the other way. You wanted to go a little bit earlier.
4 years
with accumulating good knowledge before they start in the project.
Yes, but not wait too long.
Sure.
So you need more than 1 year to do the project. So I think it's good that you start early. One thing that I was hoping to do, it might be interesting in the context of our agreement, is perhaps to consider the students maybe doing something in the summer that might be aligned with their graduation project, maybe a portion of it, or maybe something that we can synchronize together. This way, they come and join us, and they don't necessarily lose a track. Because, for example, the project some of the projects that they did, maybe if we agreed on a bigger scope of it, they might start thinking about it early. They come do it for 1 summer in UCI, and then they continue.
Sure. And
we'd be happy to also help with the supervision if it's needed, remotely. During that, and maybe even have a showcase afterwards where maybe some people from Irvine can come and be part of it if you think that would be interesting. So that's something that I think we might want to think about for the future. Now, the other subject is regarding the articulation. So what we did is we went through your courses and so this is the older program, of course, the 9 levels. And we did some equivalence, basically, in terms of our courses. So we did the best we could. Now, of course, there are things that are of a generic nature that we did not
go for.
Yeah, and besides, the purpose of this is to really have students come in the final year. So the lower division was just mainly to establish some prerequisite chain that might be needed for certain courses. So really of more interest to us was
seems that the higher later semesters are almost
there's equivalence
in
basically.
Common in full,
right?
Almost.
So one challenge with this is that you have a semester system and we have a quarter system, and so. But on the other hand, your courses, if I remember correctly, are 3 credits, whereas our courses are 4 credits.
Yeah, it's the same.
So it kind of balances out, although maybe we might argue otherwise. So هذا الكومباريزون، هذا انه كورساتنا نحن وكورساتكم انتم.
عارف ممكن ترجع خطوه واحده.
طبعا اكيد.
أول طبعا أنتم not too many common لأنه يأخذوا أشياء.
هو the part that are not common would have to do with culture. And more or less, it's very similar. I did not. So our students do take a sequence of physics courses, which cover what you have here. So mechanics, light and heat. So this is the physics 2A, B, C in our case.
In the proposed one, there will be physics 1 and physics 2, which almost covered the whole thing, and we added chemistry too.
Yeah. We used to have chemistry and we removed it.
Oh, really?
Because we didn't have enough units. So in our campus, there's a maximum of 192 units. You cannot have a degree with more than 192 quarter units.
I see.
So chemistry we didn't have room for other things. So, for example, we wanted to have more embedded systems. So something had to leave.
Sacrifice.
So we sacrificed chemistry. We also sacrificed, we had them take quantum physics, and we said, well, they don't need it. So
I see. Well, sacrificing chemistry, did you violate the ABET requirements?
No, ABET, no. I mean, ABET accredited us with no problems. No, science actually would, I think they have certain units.
How many hours? Math and science.
I can look up our self-study report if you like. We can switch to ABET. We can talk about it. Okay. So this is basic. So I see straight equivalences, and again, keep in mind that this might not be 100% on a course-by-course level, But when you take the union of the courses, I think it's pretty close. So, we cover few languages of programming, we cover, algorithms, for example, and so on. So discrete math, for example. So I think overall, it's comparable. Thank you. Okay. So we have the programming courses here, data structure and algorithms. So we have one course that's equivalent. I put a question mark to it because the descriptions do not match 100%.
Data structure and algorithms?
No, our course and your course, not exactly 100%, but
you might have them separate, maybe discrete data structures in a course.
No, they are together. But in مثلا for example, in our course, we don't cover all the data structures that you have here, but we cover them in another course.
I see.
So we have 2 levels of data structures that we cover. So 114 is I think the more advanced one. Now, here we also have a different partitioning between the labs and the. So for example, for the computer design organization and the digital lab, we have actually our lab is a full 3-unit lab. So this is the 31L. So actually, they spend 2 hours of lecture and like 7 or 8 hours of lab each week. And they design a really full system. They learn very lot of VHDL and they use it to do modeling. But I mean, I put them as equivalent for now. So the idea is maybe you cover more in this course here, but then we make the difference in this one. Okay. So then semiconductors, again, here is we take a sequence of 2. There's one course for the circuits and then 2 courses for electronics/semiconductors.
Part of them is semiconductor.
Yeah.
At one time we thought of this scenario too.
Yeah. So this is fine. This one I could not find an equivalent to. I'm not sure what this is exactly.
What is it? Embedded?
Computer maintenance lab.
Well, it's a lab where students, it's like the A+ certification. Have you ever heard of it? We've got PCs and, they just do the anatomy. They open them up. Do the BIOS programming, testing, troubleshooting. It's practical. It's mostly for technicians, but we wanted our students to be aware of all the parts of the computer.
That's good. So that's one thing we don't have. We don't do it.
Many argue that. Dr. Abdullah even asked me once if we can drop it because it's more of a technician thing than an engineer. But
it's useful.
I mean, I don't want the student to come out not knowing that this is a computer. At one time, I was asked by one of my female engineers who was a graduate. I was holding my hard disk to be fixed.
Yeah.
She said, "What's this?" I told her, "Guess." She said, "Don't tell me it's a hard disk." I told her, "It's a hard disk." So many people actually claiming that they are engineers, we don't know about these little things. It's what your whole thing is about.
Yeah.
It's just 1 hour. I mean, it's.
I think it wouldn't hurt to have a course like that, unless you're hurting for units. Then you start looking for. But if you're not, it's fine. But just keep in mind that we don't have something equivalent on our side. So that's okay. Then going here, so I think everything has equivalent. So we do technical writing. We take it in the last year. So it's actually the winter of the 4th year. The students take it. And they take it actually in conjunction with their senior design project. So they take it actually as they're writing their final report.
That's what it
for the
looks
senior
most
design project.
actually.
Yeah. You take it earlier, so there is an advantage taking it earlier, but I would say, it's a judgment call at this point. Whenever you offer it, it's good for the students.
Actually, for the proposed plan, just talking about this, for the proposed plan, this will be dropped and will be replaced by a course in English called English for Scientific Purpose, and will be given much earlier than this actually, which I'm against, because this is about technical writing. It's not just about the jargon of science and computer. Yeah. So exactly as you said, it's if I have to embed it in one course, I would possibly embed it either in software engineering, because it supports documentation and stuff, or part of the project work, if I can.
So we try to take advantage of this course in the following sense. Because it sits at the end of the senior design project sequence, we actually use it not only for technical writing, but we use it for ABET purposes. We teach the students about ethics and teamwork and how to write the project report. So, for example, you have 4 students or 3 writing involved in the project. So they have to write together. So they have to learn how to collaborate. So then we assess those metrics that are not so easy to assess for ABET. partly in this course. But again, I think you have a curriculum that has other places where you can assess those.
Yes, ethics and professional issues are in one separate course.
So our philosophy is a little bit different.
Yeah,
we try to kind of do several things. But otherwise, I think the content generically matches what we have. So here again, everything. So we have electronic circuits lab, everything, digital system design. We have all the equivalent. We have a network course for data communication, operating system. We call it system software, but that's the thing. And then we have probability and statistics. So these are all equivalent standard courses. We don't have field training. So this is one advantage that you guys have. Don't have it. I mean, you have it in 2 summers, I believe, which is good. I'm not telling you not. I'm telling you, no, you're doing the right thing.
Keeping the 2, or just one?
Yeah. If I had my choice, I would make them do something every summer. Seriously.
Most of them fired at me when I proposed this, actually.
No, every summer.
I told them the first training actually will be taken quite early, just to let the student know what work is about.
Yeah.
Most of them, when they go actually in the 3rd year, after the 3rd year, will be asked, okay, do you know this, know this, know this? He has not known enough actually to get technical training. Yeah. But I told them, I want him to know what work is about, how to get out of your bed early and to commit with the, going to work at 8.
Yeah.
How to cope with colleagues and boss and deadlines, whatever. Just learn how things are about, how they deal with their customers.
Yeah.
And you might fish for a company that suits your career or vision or ambition.
Yeah.
So it wasn't meant to be technically heavy training. The second one, maybe actually, he would have accumulated enough knowledge to say that I would go for network communication or control or software, and he start choosing things.
Yeah.
So this is again one of the arguments that.
Also, this period we face problem to find a place for them.
That's what I was going to say. The challenge with this is that you have to have some PR or some logistics on how to match students with some. But at the level of the school or at the university, I'm sure you have relationship with surrounding industry or companies.
We're trying.
If you keep track of your graduates, where you have to do that anyway for ABET.
Sure.
And if you have affiliates, you can maybe think about having affiliates program. And that's where very useful because these are your advisors coming from industry, and they can come and help you select trainees for. So go for it and honestly do more if you can.
Well, we're restricting it to one training this time.
Okay.
And the proposed one.
Yeah. We don't have engineering economy and management, so this is one thing you have, and we don't have that.
Mm-hmm. So do you think there is a good reason for it, or just you don't have it because of the lack of credits?
Yeah, we have a limit on the credits, so but it's very important. I mean, we try to teach them this during the senior design project, but it's like more crash course on the job training, which I mean, I took such a course when I was in undergraduate, and it was useful for me. Now you have motors. That's something that we don't have. I mean, we have the course, and it's an elective, but we don't make it a required course for computer engineers.
It's being electrical engineers. The proposed one, we dropped it.
Yeah, I mean,
we replaced it by control. It's a classical control course.
Yeah. So what I do, for example, I teach a microprocessor interfacing course, and what I do is I teach the students how to program a stepper motor. But that's the extent to which they see motors as computer engineers.
Mm-hmm. No, in this course they go a bit further actually.
Okay.
But it relates to what you said. But I cancelled it actually and replaced it by and proposed one by classical control plus lab.
That's good.
Because much of this can be covered in the microprocessor interfacing, in the embedded systems.
Yeah. So that's the other thing I wanted to kind of propose is put in more embedded systems content. Honestly, this is the future. This is what defines computer engineering, in my opinion. Sure. It's really the concept of embedded systems, because that's where hardware and software and interfacing meet together. Sure. And I think if you can develop it more to have more labs, and even something that, so one of the things that we're also struggling with in our program is, let's say in one course the students will use Arduino boards to do some microprocessor, and then the next course they use a Beagle board to do that. And then in the third course, they use something else. And then in their project, they might use something completely different. So what we're thinking about doing is to have this all streamlined. So they have one platform that they use as they progress through, even in the final design project. So because if they design a project, let's say, that involves doing some embedded systems, then they have to learn how to set up Linux, let's say, to run on the embedded system, and that takes them 2-3 months, and then so on. So if they do it from the beginning, it makes them easy to actually do the creative part.
Sure.
Artificial intelligence is a nice course to have, and if you have enough units, that's a good thing for the students to know. But you know, if you need units, to me, that's a nice course. But you know, it's probably
next in line. Okay.
But yeah, the rest is actually quite nice. So the rest is quite nice. I mean, you cover the ethical and legal practice that's important for ABET and for the students to know. And I think digital interfacing lab, that's good. Field training, and then the rest of the last year, my understanding is just primarily really doing the senior design, the graduation project primarily, yes. And you have the cultural course here. So one of the things that we were pausing on is, so this is the last year, right? So they come, let's say students come to Irvine and they spend this summer, right? And now you're adding another level here. Mm-hmm. So if, let's say, we pick 1 or 2 students that will stay on, then we have an issue because we don't offer something equivalent to this. And so if they don't take this course, they cannot graduate.
This is you're talking about the Islamic culture?
For example, I mean, we don't offer it here, so they have to take it before they come.
Yeah, typically these kind of courses can be, most of the students take them all early. Right. Although it's in the plan of study, we put it that way to ease the pressure while doing the advanced courses, actually. Yeah. But typically they take it early.
Yeah. So for us, if 1 or 2 students, let's say, end up staying in Irvine for the final year, then if they can take that course earlier, what we could do is have them take English at Irvine. Oh. And while they're doing their graduation project, maybe, and maybe do it for 1 or 2 quarters, and then continue on finishing the graduation project. But I'm not sure if you're level 10, so you're adding level 10 now, right?
Yes, but it's not just an addition. There will be some shuffling, actually. Some courses will be gone, some will be added, some will go on earlier semesters. So what I suggest that, Dr. Fad, if you don't mind, if you send me this sheet, along with the curriculum and the description, I'll look at the proposed plan again with Irfine in mind. So I put in my mind, actually, while doing this kind of thing, is that we accumulate the students such that if he leaves us after 4 years, he would just continue with Irfine quite easily. He will be left with the projects. He can do the whole project at your site. For example, some electives, they can all be taken at your site. Am I right?
I mean,
so this is the kind of
we put equivalence to everything. Almost, we don't have as extensive in offering in storage systems. To be honest with you, we have one course
that I proposed actually to meet, the kind of iCloud thing that is booming now. But we don't have resources to teach it actually at this time.
We're in the same boat. So that's it. But the rest, I mean, we pretty much have some things. I had to struggle to find equivalents, like haptic systems. But I even had to go to our information and computer science school to find some equivalents. In some cases, it was graduate course, a first-year graduate course that was equivalent. But otherwise, I think between your courses and our courses, there's some reasonable coverage. And if we can be flexible on some of the electives, I think.
Would that for 80% maybe?
Yeah, I think, like, for example, if they insist on taking haptic systems, we don't have something equivalent for it.
No, but we don't open this track
or fuzzy gone. Logic.
No, this track will be gone, actually.
Yeah, but the rest, I mean, there's equivalences in most courses. So.
Aside from the electives and the tracks, Doctor, aside from the electives and the tracks, how much in common do you think as percentage?
I think it's all. I mean, the only, like I said, I pointed out a couple of places like the engineering management we don't have. And this 1 unit course that you're talking about here,
Computer maintenance.
yeah, we don't have. But the rest, I mean, it's really same thing. I mean, your program is no different than many other programs.
It's a typical program.
There,
Actually,
so
when we crafted it, we looked at many curricula all over the places. We looked at the SM, IEEE, ABIT.
yeah.
So it's quite natural to come up with a good degree of common.
Yeah, no, there's no problem. I mean, I see. So what is of interest to us in the context of our agreement is really the last two levels.
Yes.
Because that's where really we need to worry about your students not delaying graduation of those students.
Sure. I will look again based on what you sent to me, inshallah.
Yeah, we will send you the articulation report, and also we prepared. We're going to give you all our ABAT material, pretty much. So for each course, that information that will allow you to decide, this is equivalent to that. Okay. So we have like a couple of big folders that we'll send to you. You can look at courses. We even have samples of student work that you can look at, and we'll try to get you some of the textbooks, but it might not be so easy to ship. So whatever textbooks we can find for some of the courses, we'll also send it to you guys. Okay. So that's as far as the CPE, the computer engineering. We call it CPE in
yes.
Irfine, so
I was about to call it this way, but so did not.
because it's civil engineering, but you're in a different school, so you do it. So this is the CS.
civil engineering. دكتور
Yes.
هل في كورسات ترى انها موجوده عندكم ولا هي موجوده عندنا مهمه انها تكون في خطتنا؟ احنا نظرت على العكس نبي عكس.
صح. So this goes to what I was saying before. We have more embedded system courses, and I think it's a good thing to emphasize now. Embedded system doesn't necessarily exclude other things like networking. They're very important. So I would say between these two areas, you should have more. If you can come up with more courses, especially hands-on training, hands-on practice for students. So إنه هون عندكم أنتم تلاميذ are going to go and work in companies. So they will be asked to deal with some hardware and software and interfacing. So to me, that's the right set of skills that you would give to students. The other thing that we're going to introduce in the near future, actually we haven't offered, is a freshman level engineering course. يلي بيخلي التلاميذ to look at the big picture of engineering. So for example, they design a hovercraft. It's very guided, and they're freshmen, they don't know much what to do, but it's almost like a recipe. So they have to, so think about students, let's say from other fields, mechanical or civil. They learn what keeps the hovercraft from tilting. So there is a feedback loop. They learn that you have to program this so that you can implement how often you sample the reading from sensors and how often do you adjust the thing. So it gives them a picture of, let's say I'm learning now about electric machines. How does it fit? Where am I going to use it? Or what's the use of having a sensor interface? So all of these things will make the students feel better about their courses instead of waiting till the final year where they say, oh, okay, this is what I use this knowledge for. Okay, so we're experimenting with this. It's something you might want to consider maybe in School of Computers, Engineering and Science. Maybe such a course would be a little bit different. But get the students involved in project work as early as possible is a really good idea. And ABAT likes it. We had the ABAT mock visit actually just in November, just last month. And we showed this to the ABAT reviewer. He was very pleased with it. He said, you're doing the right thing. So they like to see these hands-on experience for students.
Actually, we bought a few robotics parts from a company called Fisher that we've seen once in Switzerland as an exhibition actually, but we have not started yet actually. My vision was actually to get the students who just finishes the first year start tackling with these things. You can easily, there is kind of special language where you can program them quite easily. They're like Lego actually, they're made for beginners. But with the same thing in mind that you said, I don't want them to start wondering after 4 years, that's where we had to learn this to fit. So
In fact, to your point,
I hope we can start next year, inshallah, doing this with this.
Yeah, last year I was visiting Technical University of Dortmund, and they showed me their undergraduate labs. So believe it or not, they use you've heard of Mindstorm? Mindstorm is a Lego company, so you mentioned Lego. They have a robotic system that is Lego. So you have parts, you put them together. And there's a programming language. You go in and it's a graphical programming saying, they have this API and it says, grab something here, do something here, wait for the sensor, sense for pressure. And, in let's say a few hours, students can build a robot that will go and throw a ball into a basket and then do a dance, like they do with the players after he scores. I mean, very sophisticated things that they can do. So something like this might be useful for freshmen because they learn sensors, hardware, software, how to put integration, all of these things, or the Fisher things.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think yes, please, that's a good idea.
في recommended percentage practical amount of hours when you compare by overall, especially for the professional certificate degrees.
It really depends on how many units you have and how many. So eventually, if you're close to the maximum number of units, if you have a maximum number of units, it might be. Then you start asking, well.
In our case, 145.
135. So where are you now? How many years you have? You have 135. Are you?
145 hours.
Are you now at 145?
Yes.
And the max, is there a university maximum, or you don't?
No, actually, the School of Engineering is 160, Victor.
Oh, 160. So if you have room in the curriculum, I would just add the course, maybe 3 or 4 units. Your courses seem to be all 3 units, so 3 units would be good, maybe over.
سؤال Dr. Sadiq was about how much of the whole thing can be or should be practical practices, labs and stuff like that. How many?
Well, my suggestion would be to enhance the coverage of embedded systems, have at least twice as many units for embedded systems as what you have now. I see 3 units here in this course. And make it also in conjunction with the lab. So you can teach, I'm trying to remember what you teach here. If it's, you teach them a hard description language. Is that, do they use HDL here?
Which course?
For embedded systems, the CS3630?
No, currently we use the PIC.
Okay, PIC. So they actually do microprocessor programming.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So do they do a project? Do they have a project in that course?
Yes.
Okay.
Around 12 experiments with a capstone at the end.
Okay. Yeah, maybe another course where they can learn more advanced things. PIC is an 8-bit processor, right? This is the old.
Is what processor?
8-bit processor.
Yes.
It's like
16.
16. Okay. Maybe something more modern. They can look at. Yeah, maybe something like that. Eventually,
because, we've got kits for that. Actually, that's why. But actually, in the proposed plan, we'll have interfacing computer lab where they build a computer from scratch.
Okay.
They will typically use either Z80 or Intel equivalent 8-bit or 16-bit embedded system like the Motorola 68008.
Okay.
So they get the RAM, ROM, decoding, PIOs, SIOs, everything.
Okay.
They build the whole computer actually on a single board.
Okay.
So they have a better experience.
What about FPGA? Where do they get FPGA?
In the digital system. The digital system has FPGA. Okay.
So one thing they could do also, you could look at FPGAs and use the embedded processors in the FPGA, and they can build a system around it.
Yes.
That because now in the new Xilinx FPGA you have an ARM.
Yes.
On the
you can have a whole processor as part of the library.
And they learn the tools. This is should be useful for them. So that would be one thing I would suggest, perhaps. But aside from that, I'm just talking about maybe adding, if you want to consider something during a freshman year, it's one course. But other than that, really, just throughout different courses, maybe add more hands-on experience. But I think they're well-rounded. I think the students seem to be okay. If you can also, so that's one thing that came from the practice, the training that they did, a course or two on apps for tablets or cell phones. I think that's something that at least the students that we worked with found it exciting. And it doesn't seem to require, I mean, given that they are well prepared, they might learn something interesting new. They have to deal with sensors and...
We actually left this for the projects.
Okay.
It's, kind of far from the computer engineering core.
Yeah.
We leave it for the projects.
Okay.
If they want to go that way.
Yeah. That's also possible, yeah. But other than that, I think you're doing fine.
Thank you so much.
Before we move to the computer science, because we are waiting Dr. Mustafa.
طبعا.
He's in the way. وتوري الخطة الجديدة التعديلات. Just about 15 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
He's in the way.
Okay, here is the
new plan.
Yeah.
المشكلة.
I don't have, it doesn't work.
لا هذا ما فيش عنده. I have it in USB. I don't know if you can read it or not.
Yeah, sure.
Just in case. أنا بعرف الأبل شوية peculiar.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. I think.
Sometimes Windows things don't work on Apple.
Yeah.
Try to see the desktop. It may have. Go to the desktop.
Yeah.
It might be there now.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. Go to the UCI visit, please.
Okay.
And go to the proposed versus current.
Yes.
That's an overview of how things.
Okay.
We have 9 semesters in the current one. The proposed 10.
Yeah.
145 hours. Modified a bit actually to accommodate the preparatory year. It has become 149. But the proposed one will have 160. Out of these, the electrical engineering, we had 11 hours. Will become 15 by adding the control plus lab for control. CS were 17. It's become 18. Actually, one of the courses was 2 hours. It's now 3 hours. We have not changed much.
Okay.
The CE were 45. They become 46. Again, one of the courses has extension. Software engineering, standard course, 3 by 3.
Right.
The science courses were 10, 3 physics labs, 3 physics plus a lab.
Yeah.
And now has become 12.
Okay.
2 physics, 4 by 4, and 1 chemistry, 4. With the lab embedded in each one of them.
Okay.
Math and statistics, 1 statistics course actually, but included in the math count. 15 in the current one, 21 in the proposed one.
It's 2 courses, right? Because you have 6 units of difference. 6 credits of difference. 15 to 21.
Yes, we added, we split the differentiation and integration. They were 1 course. We split them.
Okay.
Integration.
So that's 3 units.
Calculus 1, calculus 2, integral calculus, differential calculus.
Okay.
And we added another course, numerical methods.
Okay, that's
so
good.
that's the difference.
That's really
General
good.
education 26 became 30 by improving or more English courses. Electives were 18, but dropped to 15 actually. Elective because they had the tracks. They're not fully elective. Some of them are elective within a track. So although the electives has dropped as a number, but it's more flexible.
So it's 5.
Most of the
5
5
electives.
courses. For the 5 courses are all elective.
Okay.
But in the previous one or the current one, some of them were within the track focus area, let's say. Okay, so that's regarding the statistics. If you go to the SAU, CED, CBE number, show Irfine.
Yes.
Is that what you...
Yeah. That's what you have here? Yeah.
It's got the proposed plan.
Yes.
If you want to look at the proposed plan.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah.
They're actually classified according to the professional components. First is the CE courses.
Yeah. And then you have CS courses, E courses, math, science.
See, we have embedded course, data communication, system software design. Although you mentioned it here.
Which one is that?
System software design.
43.
Number 9.
Number 9. Oh, got it. Okay.
System software design here.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what's the difference between this and
operating system?
Yeah, what's the difference?
When you said operating system, you said we have equivalent. Actually, operating system is the first course or introductory course in operating systems.
Okay.
This one actually built on the operating system and the architecture.
Okay.
You, for example, try to make a program that's system software. For example, like hard disk defragmenter.
Okay.
It's not just a regular program. You have to know the physics of how the hard drive is classified in sectors, tracks, how it works, how we read and how we write, how fast we do things.
Okay.
So it's a programming, but requires heavy knowledge about the hardware.
Okay.
So this is the kind of thing. If you want to design protocols for networking, for example.
Right. Garbage collection.
Yes, garbage collection, thing like that.
Okay. So
it's
this is
software,
an advanced operating system.
heavily based on hardware. Software heavily based on software.
Great experience for
yes,
the students. Yeah.
it builds on this is actually in my school there. This is the hardest course for the students. يعني بيستعيدوا بالله من هذا الكورس system software.
Yeah.
But that's what makes an engineer.
Of course, yeah.
It also, by the way, I took your note, which is quite important to me, adding more embedded systems. This would possibly also fit in the same line.
Absolutely.
You're programming, but for the hardware. So I can think of it as extension to the embedded system in a way.
No, you got it right. Yeah.
We also have a VLSI design.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have it.
Yeah, we have it. Yeah.
We have it missing. It was elective. The current plan.
No, we have 3 versions of that actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are they about?
Electrical, computer engineering, and CSE. In CSE, what I did is actually merged electronics and VLSI in one course for computer scientists.
I see. So they work at the gate level?
We start, so they know RC circuits coming into the course. I teach them about MOS transistors, and then I build some gates, and I tell them what it takes to integrate.
I see.
So we press for units. So
okay, I have one question regarding this. If you look at the little below this course, system software, I had graduation project 1, 2 after the field training, then selected topics. It's something that we pick. We have also the college elective and department elective. I have 2 college elective courses in the proposed plan, 2 department electives. In the department elective, they pick one out of the courses which are in the field of computer engineering. They can go around, but not that far.
Okay.
In the college elective course, as I say in the number, it has no number so far, but it can be CES.
Yes.
CS, IS, or software engineering.
Okay, yeah.
Is it okay that?
Yeah. I think that's good. It enriches them. But do you cross-list courses across departments?
What's that?
Do you cross-list courses across departments?
We have to, yes.
Okay. Yes. So the cross-listed courses count towards college electives or department electives?
So far, it's not well defined, but in the current plan, we have even in the tracks or the electives, we have some course for example, for the networks. Right. The network security or the distributed systems is considered a computer science course. Of course. But I list it in my curriculum.
Okay.
They take it in the CS department.
I see. Okay.
They also take some courses from mine, like the architecture, network, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. And then you have EE courses. So you took out the electric machines. Control system is a good idea. It's important, and it's more relevant to computer engineering.
Actually, we dropped it in the 145 plan just because we didn't have enough units.
Yeah.
But at no time I thought actually I'm staying with the engineering department or college actually, as we're close to the computer science, but I believe we are closer to the EE. Still,
it's still at the intersection of these, absolutely.
Control system بتاع control system والcontrol lab. يعني تفضل إن تكون كورس واحد ولا separate courses؟
هلا هني in the same offered in the same quarter بنفس السمستر ولا بنفس السمستر؟
prerequisite اللاب prerequisite له الثيوري.
هلا في مسألة إنه التلاميذ قديش بيتذكروا بس يخلصوا من الكنترول سيستم كورس إذا اللاب مثلا بيبلش in the concept that they learned early in the previous semester, they might have trouble. So we try to synchronize core requisites in the lab, but we try to synchronize so that they cover the material in the lecture before it goes on the lab. I mean, there are you can talk to two different people. They'll give you two different answers.
Different schools.
Yeah.
Everyone has plus and minus actually.
My suggestion is this is an important topic, especially for computer engineers. بتفرقون زي ما قلت عن ال computer scientists. I would make, if you're going to offer it in a different course, do what we do, which is make the lab more extensive. Let them deal with some real stuff.
Yes, they do. Yeah, up to PLC even. We have built PLC labs.
Then why is it only 1 unit? You should make it more. Right? It's
again, I mean, with the 160, we have a limit now. We can't, get too much.
You have our problem.
At one time, I proposed the database because our students have to know little about the database, and then I said no.
Why do you make them learn chemistry? I mean, this is kind of
because it's a requirement.
Are you sure?
We have to. Yes, it's 32 hours.
Not of chemistry. They don't specify chemistry.
They said math and science.
Yeah,
we had 21 hours of math. We need enough or more science. We took physics 1, physics 2, and what else?
Math. More math courses.
We've got 21.
Numerical methods.
Covered everything. You name it. Linear algebra, discrete math, differential calculus, integral calculus, discrete math, numerical methods, linear algebra.
Yeah.
We've almost covered everything.
I can look up my school's computer engineering program. I mean, I can send it to you anyway, but you can see because.
Besides, I've come to know that ABIT loves to have sort of balance between science and math. They also love the science part to have more labs. And chemistry in particular, they prefer it because it's got labs.
Do they consider other engineering courses, like if they take a course in mechanical or in civil kinematics or
we'll have
robotics?
We'll have a hard time justifying. You mean as a science?
Yeah.
We'll have a hard time justifying what this is.
Okay.
In the current plan, Dr. Fadi, the current plan, when we wanted to go to the ABIT, and I have to accumulate 30 more hours of science and math, I had to consider the semiconductor, which is a computer engineering course with a computer engineering number. I had to consider it by content as physics. Our advisor said, we'll have a hard time justifying that this, although it's a computer engineering course, it's by content a physics.
Cross-listed with physics department.
Well, that's what we wanted to do, but we said, what the hell? I mean, we'll add just one more science. And I also believe in the broad education for engineers.
That makes sense.
I'm not, just like what you said yesterday.
Yeah.
The first degree, the BSc, is not a place where you have a lot of in-depth knowledge, even in engineering. So let him have, let's better balance the broad education. So this fits into the broad education. Besides, computer engineers, if we talk about VLSI and semiconductor, it's got physics and chemistry stuff inside. I mean, you have to know the atoms and bonds and electron movements. Lots of the chemistry things have to be known.
True.
The material that we use currently for electronics go from gallium arsenide to semiconductor to germanium to whatever. So chemistry is not that far from us.
No, you're right. Yeah. I'm just thinking that if you want to make room for some other things, but I can understand the ABIT issue that you want to. I was just wondering how we dealt with it in I think we do a different accounting. Many of our courses are 4 units instead of 3 units. So maybe that's how we do it.
But what they say actually, one year of college level courses. 1 year, it doesn't matter how you, in the semester system, it's 32 hours. They actually say 32 hours or 1/4 of the program, whichever is less. So in your case, 192. How much? 1/4 of the 92 is what? 48.
Yeah.
So you have to give 48 hours.
1/3. 1/4.
1/4.
Yeah.
1/4.
1/4.
48 hours. 192 units هم quarter system بتاعه.
يعني 1/4 of it. ربع بيكون.
ربع اللي هو 48.
44 صح.
أو إذا حولتهم لسمستر يونتس قديش بيصفوا؟
يعني 12
أرباع 36.
12 courses in our case.
12 courses.
12 courses, yeah.
48 hours quarter system, 36 hours in the semester system.
Yeah. Let me see if I have network connected.
We have now 11 actually, math and science.
Okay. 11, so you need...
ما يعادل 11 هم 33 hours. ما يعادل 11 3-hour courses.
I think it's a minor point, I would say. The rest is fine. I mean, I think then you have the electives at the end, right? You have the 65 to 74 clients.
تفضل دكتور.
تفضل دكتور. هلا. هذا دكتور.
دكتور مصطفى أيوب رئيس قسم علوم الحاسب.
شرفنا.
دكتور
فإذا بس to wrap up دكتور عشان to leave room for the other programs, just let you know a little about what we did في الABET.
لا أيوة تخليها أجل شوي. أيوة تأجل. أنا عايز أكمل. اللي يبغى دكتور مثل لو تكرمت تاخذ النيو بلان حقتنا وتعطينا نيو كومنت.
خلاص عندي أنا أعلقه. Let me copy it on my. Is that okay if I copy it on my computer?
ترسل على دكتور. هذه النسخة اللي بدك ترسلها له.
هي كان ريفيو اسمه.
هاخذ الدايركتوري هذا.
ما عندك مشكلة.
Let me just take it and put it.
بعدين بس هلا مش مشكلة.
Okay, let me just do. Okay, we have it here. If you eject, please. Ejected. Okay, here we go.
I was about to buy a new Mac.
ايه
بس مش عارف اشتري الماك اللي هو ال 13 ولا ال 11. كيف ال 11 ماشي؟
I love it. It's بس إلا إذا
هو البكسلز تاعته الريزولوشن تبعه مش كثير.
that's
مش زي الجديد ريتنا بس هو خفته بطاريته ما بدهم كثير 5 ساعات يمكن
5 ساعات وشوية. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. بس for me أنا I have a bad back. So I need to make it as light as possible.
We'll develop one, so we'll have one.
شكرا.
طيب ننزل بالكمبيوتر ساينس.
طبعا. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Okay. So computer science. So Dr. نحن we did the equivalency between your courses and our courses. Yeah. And as I was saying, same thing applies that was said before with computer engineering, that we have some misalignment because we use quarter system and you use semester. On the other hand, many of our courses are 4 units and your quarter units, and your courses are 3 semester units. So almost there maybe the same amount of hours spent. Maybe you spend a little bit more because your semester. But in either case, so that's as a baseline.
Yeah.
Okay. Then in some courses, so you might have, let's say, 80% of one course covered in one of our courses, and then the rest of the 20% in another course.
Yeah.
So there may not be like a perfect match course by course basis. Yeah. But overall, if you take the set of courses, I think it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So this is a proposal of what we think is equivalent, but eventually what we're going to do, like computer engineering, is we're going to send this in a nicer format. And alongside with it, we're going to send a folder that has our courses, the syllabus for the courses, the textbook, and I'm hoping to also send samples of midterms, finals, homeworks. So kind of like similar to what you assembled for ABET.
Yeah.
And we're just going to send it to you guys, and you can take a look at it. And really, it's not for us to make equivalence, it's for you, because this is mainly for your students. If they end up spending 1 year in Irvine, then you need to be comfortable with whatever courses they take at Irvine being equivalent, and for them to graduate in a timely manner from SAU. So really, we would give you the material, and you will make your decision on the articulation. Okay. So as I mentioned before, some of these courses is really offered at SAU. We don't have an equivalent in UCI. I think we have a course in Arabic, but I don't think it's nearly as good as what you guys offer here. So basically, we have very similar program. So now one thing is our program is a CSE program. So it's a computer science and engineering. It's heavily on software, but also we're also heavy on concepts like embedded systems. So yeah, we have some of that. There is also a CS program in the School of Information and Computer Science, but the CSE program is also managed jointly by ICS, our sister school, and engineering school. So it's actually both. And that's what made accreditation very hard, because we had 2 schools, 2 departments, and 2 committees, CAC and DAC. It's but anyways, so we do have similar things, these are the lower division courses. Let me check something here. I think for some reason I don't have. Okay, logic design actually we have here. And as I mentioned before, we don't have computer maintenance lab. For some reason, this got misaligned. So let me just let me see. I think I have another table here. Let me move. Let me just get. Okay, here. This is probably better. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, this is more correct. So, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see here, so some of these things like communication skills, we teach later, more in the senior year. But more or less, we have a similar philosophy as far as teaching the basics in the first 2 years here. You do offer physics and magnetism. We have similar courses here. Computer programming, we have actually 4 courses. We have ECS 10, 12, 20, 22, and 40, which deal mainly with programming and data structure. So we have a sequence of 4 or 5 courses that deal with that at the lower division. Then we teach assembly language programming in a couple of different courses. One is a lower division where they learn what is an assembly language, and the other one is a microprocessor course where they actually do a lot of assembly language programming, especially for things like peripherals, how they use timers, how they use, serial ports and things like that. We have similar courses, mathematics for computer science. This is offered by our sister school, Information and Computer Science.
The same course, yeah?
Yeah, more or less the same courses.
What about data structure?
Yeah, we have actually...
Same?
Yeah. So I think I looked at the equivalence, and we cover. So that's where I'm mentioning about coverage. For example, in earlier courses we covered some simple data structures, and then in the this course more complicated, linked lists and things like that, and structs. So yeah, we offer. Okay, so this is. But overall, I think these are standard topics in computer science that will be covered in every program. We have the same course in computer architecture, numerical analysis. Actually, we offer it as a math course. They take it as a math course, yeah. And then this is programming language course, TL course 141. And algorithm design is offered so we have a special course for CSE, which is essentially offered both by computer science school and the engineering school in our department. And then we have the database course. Actually, we have several database courses, but this is the first one that they take, 116. We don't have operations research. That's one thing that we don't have. You can go to the School of Business and they will offer such a course.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but we don't have it.
In the new plan, academic plan, I did this course from our plan. It was the same reason.
Sometimes you some model in simulation modeling. Because course in simulation modeling.
Yeah.
You talk about mathematical model.
You can cover these topics in other courses. You can.
It's very important to teach them simulation of modeling. Because now everything
Simulation and modeling.
create a model and simulate that.
I believe the operations research is mostly an extension to the algorithms. I mean, if
You got it right. So job assignment problem, for example, linear
to the
programming, all of those things.
it's an advanced
Yeah.
algorithm.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's useful for the students to know some of the concepts, whether you want to call it operations research or advanced algorithms or whatnot. I mean, it really becomes a matter of labeling. We do have a computer graphics course. However, our graphics program in ECS is almost dismantled. We actually have a better graphics program in computer science. Yeah.
Gaming things.
We have a degree in computer game science in our sister school, which is very popular because Los Angeles is a big place for writing computer games. Lots of companies that practice. So, but you know, computer gaming requires you to know also social and psychology, so they have to know other things. Anyway, operating system, we have, as I mentioned, we call it system software, but it's just we don't have a course in visual programming that I didn't see a course in visual programming in our curriculum or in computer science.
It's not a new concept. Actually, visual programming is just a tool. It's how you present programming. So you can do programming one using the console, programming two using visual tools. It's not programming by itself.
Programming language courses have you in your
I can tell you if I can get online.
courses that's related to the programming language. Just
Not sure if we have.
courses, 3 courses.
And Andy, I have a. No, let me actually. No, actually not. There's guest. There's an SEU guest I was on.
Maybe it's not in here. Doesn't seem to be.
Oh, sure. If you have access to the net, you can go to our website and I can show you exactly.
Sense. Okay, let's see. Sense. Okay. wanna do let's go. كأنه بدها باسورد أو شيء. Group authentication. Cancel. Continue.
Actually, I can find it somewhere else. I'll find it for you. Just a second. Give me a second. Because I have all the ABET. Let me see. That's okay. I'll show you our self-study. Well, I guess we'll start studying. Here we go. I'll show you here. So this is our self-study report in all the gory details, but let me jump to the plan of study and I can show you. Okay. It's amazing how much these self-study reports can expand in number of pages. Our electrical engineering program self-study report was 1,000 pages. With all the appendices and all that. But let's see. So we have basically all these requirements here. So like for writing requirements, there's 41 units. And I think these are the breadth course, but let me just jump to, sorry for all the details. I'll just try to find it as quickly as I can. But, what is the plan of study? Let me just, Well, let me see if I can find it here. This is... Okay. Now, this is actually not... Sorry. Okay, let me see if I can search for it. Now I want to give you exact information. I don't want to kind of pull things out of a hat. Graduation requirements. So we require 180 quarter units. Okay. 180 quarter units. Yani you have to divide it by or multiply by 2/3, right?
Multiplied by
2/3, because 3/4 you have 2 semesters. So
3/4.
يعني 120 120
120 yes.
120 yeah. So we have 48 units of math and base science, 72 units of engineering topics, and 60 units of computer topics. So this is for CSE, right? So CS you probably don't have it. Now you're getting accredited by CAC. You're looking to be accredited?
Yes.
By CAC, right? Okay.
بقول من 1 ل6 بس.
So let me just take a look here because I need to look at the plan of study. Number criteria 5, right? Yeah. Yeah.
كم هو شيك على السيستم وهيك بقول لي ندخل ايميلك
Yeah.
يمينك في الساعة.
Okay. So as I mentioned, in our case, it was very complicated because we had to deal with 2 committees. But basically, these are our courses. So you have essentially this course, Intro to Computer Science, and then Fundamental of Data Structures, Computing Tools. These are digital systems, and really, let's see. And we cross-list courses. So for example, some of these courses like software tools and methods are cross-listed with informatics.
software tools
Yeah.
and methods.
So informatics.
Methods.
Yeah. So
Which topics does this course cover?
I think it covers basic software engineering.
Software engineering.
Basic software engineering, yeah.
Software
case
engineering,
like case tools.
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah. And then we have programming language. Actually, they take the first course, and I think they can take the second one as a elective.
You have a concept in programming language.
Right.
Programming.
Right. And compilers and interpreters.
Please, Doctor. Fundamental introduction to computer science as a general course or related to the programming language?
It covers a little bit of everything.
Everything.
Yes.
As a general course.
Yeah, it's a general course.
Yeah.
It even covers assembly language.
Then you have one course as a pure programming language.
Yes.
Programming 1.
Here, yes.
But it is enough for our student.
It is what?
It's enough for our student.
Depends what you want them to know in programming language. I mean, how much do you want them to be involved in? Because there's another course on compilers and interpreters following.
I think if you have one course for programming language, we will cover as basic concepts of programming language. You cannot take advanced topics in programming language as object-oriented or concepts.
So in each one of our courses, we cover. Let me just. Sorry. Okay. We cover different languages in different courses. So in some courses we cover Python, we cover C++, we cover C. So each course, so we don't have one language that flows through in all the courses. So if you're talking about the students knowing different languages, is that your question?
Yeah.
No, they will learn Python.
For example, C++.
Java. Yes.
For example.
Java. They don't learn right now, but the students that came, I asked them to learn Java. I think it's important. It's a very important language.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but they learn it when they're doing their final year, the summer project.
Yes.
And they learn very little of it. It wasn't enough time to learn much. But no, I agree with you. I mean, if I were to redesign this curriculum, I would include Java. C++ we do cover, as I mentioned. C we cover. We cover Python, and I think that's mostly what we cover. Now, in some courses they might learn Java, like when they're doing a project that deals with embedded systems or doing some internet. I think a couple of electives have internet.
Applications.
Web.
But I guess it's Java is in the main line of programming like C and C++. But Python, however, is mostly used for games, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different line.
True.
So I mean,
but I think we even covered Python in our earlier courses because it's easier for the students to learn as a concept and work with. Yeah. I mean that's. But again, keep in mind this is a CSE program, so there is a CS program that also exists in the school. But this is kind of, I thought of it as to some extent a superset, but because it covers both engineering and computer science aspects of things.
Compilers and
interpreters, here.
But just side question regarding the market: do they need more CS or CE or CSE?
This program is one of the most popular programs we have. This year we had a doubling of students. Literally, the students. We had almost 80 freshmen entering in computer science and engineering, and another 77 in computer engineering. So huge enrollment.
Good to have the two aspects in the same person. Actually, it's not that easy.
CSE 151.
Yes.
To be LSI.
Yeah, that's the course. One courses I teach. Yeah. This is a course that gives students just enough to know about electric circuits. Just enough, so that they know why does the chip, for example, cannot run at infinite speed. Okay, so some basic concepts like that. Okay, and why does it consume too much power? Why cannot run? It consumes too much power, or it has signals cannot travel fast enough. Then I have to worry about making programs more parallel because I have to put multi-cores. So they kind of think along those terms. And then the senior design project actually goes on for, as I mentioned before, it's actually 1 year only. And it actually covers 3 quarters. And the last quarter is where they write the report. And this is where they learn technical writing. So technical writing is learned way at the end of the curriculum. So
design project, not bus project.
It's even a graduation project بس انشئت برضه يعني هو اسم دارج graduation project. بس هو تسمى design project برضه.
Yeah, I mean in our case because we designate the years as junior, senior, we call it senior design project because it takes place during the senior year. But graduation project is just as fine. I mean I think Abed likes to call it capstone. So but it's either way it's fine.
لا يعني senior design project واحد in the first semester.
Quarter. 3 quarters.
3 quarters. Fall, winter, spring.
2 semesters.
2 semesters, yeah. But I think in your case, if it's similar to computer engineering, you start thinking about it 1 year before.
Yes.
Which is
the last 2 semesters.
We are thinking of doing that. So you might be ahead of us. We might end up starting in the spring of the 3rd year, where they would think about the project and what they need to accomplish the project. And then during the summer, maybe they order parts, and then they start in the fall quarter working on it. Okay? So this, again, what we'll do is we'll send you the articulation, our suggestion, and then you guys can review it and see what we can do with regards to the programs. And the idea is if students come and spend the last year at Irvine, to me, the most important thing is not to delay their graduation. If we can make sure that maybe some of the courses that we would not offer, like cultural courses, that they can take early. And if you're comfortable with our electives or our courses being electives, I think they mostly take electives the last year, then we can together at least make sure for the students that they would not have to stay an extra semester to graduate.
طبعا كمان نيو بلان
كمان 10 ليفلز 10
لا 8
عشان it's a 4-year program. صح.
Total credit hours in this plan 135. Maybe I will reduce to 131.
Okay.
131, yes.
Okay.
إن شاء الله.
Okay.
You can, if you can do.
I'm happy to. ممكن ترسل لي electronic copy?
Yes.
Let me give you my card.
لسه كنت أقول لك مش معنا كارت.
Yeah, of course.
I will send you
sorry,
the new
thanks.
and the old. You have the old.
Yes, I have. Please, if you can pass it. Thank you.
إن شاء الله.
دكتور طبعا.
ترسل لي المقارنة دكتور.
طبعا احنا زي ما قلت حنرسل لكم المقارنه مع معلومات كامله عن الكورسات
ان شاء الله،
بس حتكون مطبوعه عشان to assemble it electronically is hard, so حنرسل لكم صندوقه معها.
ممكن بس تعطيها سوفت كوبي عشان يبغى يستفيد منها في الشغل.
طبعا بس خليني نقحها شوي، اذا بتعطيني وقت حتى نقحها حنحطها بفورمات يكون اسهل to follow. بس it's almost ready.
بس هو المشكله يعني تندو كمبيوتر ساينس اند انجينيرنج.
يا صح، في فرق.
صح؟
يا
احنا بيور كمبيوتر ساينس.
right.
يعني هذا ممكن ياثر يعني في بعض الكورسات اكيد يعني كمبيوتر ساينس اند انجينيرنج.
يا
تبقى مشكله.
You should have more courses to cover this specialty.
لا
بينما احنا مركزين يعني اكيد احنا بناخذ كورسز في الهاردوير يعني اللي هي الاوفرلاب بين between computer engineering and computer science as like the computer architecture and assembly language and logic design.
طبعا.
And we can embed a system because this is the important topics now.
Yeah, of course.
Other courses maybe we don't need this.
Yes. No, you're right. Our only goal is to make sure that your students, if they come and spend a final year in Irvine, that the elective that they'll take would be satisfactory to your requirements. Yani, they don't have to take courses only in our department. They can take courses in computer science. And I've listed actually some of those courses in the equivalence. Yani, إذا ما عندنا course بالdepartment عندنا, I listed equivalent course in computer science. They have courses. So that's where I'm coming from. حيكون عنده الكورسات يعني موجودة in both schools.
ولا شيء معين؟
إذا كنتوا بتحبوا تشوفوا plan of study تبعنا we can do that زي ما بتحبوا. بس
خلينا نشوف. المشكلة إنه شوف okay. Try to pick the network to science lab.
Science employee
أيوة.
أو lab.
لا science SIOB. أيوة.
نشتغل عليه الآن بس ما الاتفاقية مع
اوكي there's a login.
عنده حاجة برا يضبطها.
شو المشكلة؟
طيب دكتور صادق من انفورميشن سيستم.
اوكي.
عندك هذا الخطة، هل ممكن تتكرم نعطيك اياه وتوصل على عندكم في السكول الثاني الانفورميشن سيستم؟
انفورميشن سيستم
فقط يعني عندهم سكول مختلفة.
It's called we call it Department of Informatics. انت بتحكي عن informatics يعني؟ And they deal with software engineering or software life cycle and all these things. Is that what you're
computer information system?
Yes.
الأول عندكم seems to be closer to the software engineering.
Yeah, it's more software engineering. معنا
software engineering اللي عندهم.
معنا
information and computer science.
Yeah.
It's school of information and computer science.
Yeah.
They major in management information.
Yes. But this is jointly. Yeah. This is jointly with. Yes, I was. Yes.
Management.
Yeah.
يناسبكم ولا ما يناسبكم؟
طلاب يمشوا لنا.
انتوا بيهمكم شو الطلاب انه
انا ممكن اشتغل برا.
ممكن اشوف البلان حقتهم.
يعني
انا ما عندي خبره في الموضوع، بس ممكن يعني
البورشن بتاع البيزنس بسيط جدا. ما كان اثنين كورس ولا خمسه كورس.
اوكي. يعني
الريس كله كمبيوتر ساينس. ما في مشكله.
اوكي. Yeah, we can take a look at it. Sure, yeah. I mean,
شكله مش حيجي هون دكتور بس
مش
إذا
هيجي. لا بس أنا I can show you إنه if I can.
على إرفاين من هون.
Right, طبعا. زي ما تحب. Sorry.
الديستريبيوشن بتاع البروجرام.
Yes.
الجنرال ريكويرمنت 24 credit hours.
Okay.
الفيزيكس 13 الماثماتيك 18 عندنا الكور كورسز 27 دي الديتيلز بتاع الكورس دي جنرال كورسز اللي هو العربي والكوميونيكيشن والانجلش.
Okay.
دي الفيزيكس.
Yeah.
نسيم الكمبيوتر انجينيرنج دي الماثماتكس.
جميل. Okay.
دي الكور كورسز برضه كمبيوتر ساينس كمبيوتر ساينس كمبيوتر انجينيرنج سوفت وير انجينيرنج في البيزنس these are about 2 courses.
Okay.
برضه you have tracks. فدي الكور كورسز.
Yes.
دي كمبيوتر فاندامنتال same like computer science programming 1 2
أيوة.
the structure algorithm like computer.
So what do they learn in programming languages 1 and 2? Computer programming 1 and 2.
In the first one we use the structure programming.
Okay.
The second one is object-oriented programming. Sometimes you see
with
C sharp. Okay.
The structures some you cover most of the structures plus few algorithms.
Do you use C for this or what do you use for data structures?
Yeah, C. This one we after finishing the computer programming one.
Okay.
Number 16 computer security.
Good.
This for computer engineering courses. We got computer engineering science, computer maintenance lab like that one also same. Computer architecture, computer network and computer network lab.
Good.
It's for software engineering. We got 2 courses in software engineering. One is software engineering, other is human computer interaction, same like.
Okay. Yeah.
And for business, we got 2. The first one is introduction to business.
Okay.
And the second one is management science. It looks same like operation research.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
We got 2 training and 2 accreditation projects.
Of course, for
Same like that.
field training.
For information system, we got information system core courses. See, it's going to be a little bit different than your courses.
Okay.
This one fundamental information system, management information system. This maybe can be available at other schools. School of information and also got electives. See, elective cover different type of electives from computer science or from IS.
So can you go back to the information one? Yeah, fundamentals programming. So do you have anything on internet programming? I mean, anything that
This one e-commerce.
other than e-commerce? Yeah, is there anything?
No. Only one.
Okay.
For the new program, we added this one.
Okay.
This one for the elective from
For internet programming, Doctor, in a new academic plan, we create a new course, advanced programming language.
Yeah.
In this course, we cover a set of topics related to advanced concept of programming, how to programming the network, socket and send and receive, and how can you relate your program with database.
Sure.
And other with the web application. The same course.
HTML5.
Yes, HTML
like that.
yes, and web applications.
Yeah.
In this course.
Okay.
This advanced programming language. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the student before this course, this take programming واحد as a concept structure language and object oriented. In this course, we will give the students more concepts, advanced concepts, to acquire the students more knowledge about the market and so on.
So one thing I was suggesting actually is for you guys to think about also. We have a course. You got to choose a course on web applications. And apps. App development. It's very popular. Students end up writing a Pac-Man game as an app. So.
ايوه اخر وقت الدكتور السعدية تفضل دكتور في شيء؟
لا. Okay, but as you can see, this one is semester 8 and 9, which is computer network lab, computer security. This one human computer interaction.
Okay.
Mainly in computer science, you can be available.
Yeah.
But tracks, we got 4 tracks. The active one is only this financial information system tracks and business information systems.
Okay.
Which is mainly in business, not here, not in your department. So
yes.
difficult.
But okay.
This one is semester 8, semester 9.
Okay. بس قلت لي أنت you have only 9 semesters or 8?
9 semesters, same like others.
Okay, okay.
All the current program are 9
Okay.
145 hours.
Okay, okay, okay. So why do you have multiple tracks? Is that something that you want to do by design?
This one is required by in IS program.
Not too easy. Take this away from
No,
It's okay.
yes. As you can see here, this one is a bit requirement.
To have multiple tracks?
No, to have a knowledge in specific domain.
Yeah. Okay.
See this one.
Okay.
This a bit for IS program.
Yeah.
This one. You have a knowledge in a specific applied of human in a specific domain. So you give him in health information systems and in library information systems, but you don't have people who can teach these courses. You respond that one. And you only offer the business course. You find some people in business can help us with this.
Okay. So that's good. So have you identified what could be really popular for the region in terms of an area, like you said, mentioned health information system, there's e-commerce, there's other things. I mean, is there some direction that would be more popular than others?
The popular one now is the general or traditional information system, is mainly for the business.
Okay.
There is no program in informatics like this one. See, only here in this program we want to deal with health information, which is, but more to go to it should not be informatics, and also for library because as the domain.
Yes.
For the new one, there's a lot of dilemma about that. Are we going to go in details to show our tracks in the degrees or not? Because now our track is just elective, cannot appear even in the degrees.
Right. I think doing tracks, I repeat the same thing, that doing tracks is probably logistically cumbersome for a school that is growing.
Establishing.
I think consider having electives and maybe help with the students. You advise the students to kind of take a set of electives that would
At the series.
direct them. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a lot easier. So,
Okay. I'll go for a little bit. 15 minutes.
presentation.
Could you log in or not?
Yeah, I'm fine. But let me just get my yes. But I know. I think. Let me just get the presentation here. Okay. Go here. So let me just go through this, and I'll unhide. I had lots of slides that I unhid here. So okay. Let's see. Okay. Let me just. Okay. Okay. So let me go through this. Our practice. Okay. So here, I'll start with the CSE program, and then I'll go to the CE program. So basically, our CSE program, as I mentioned before, we had the difficulty that it was accredited. It's accredited by the EAC and the CAC. So we had two teams that visited us, and so on. So by the way, there is a new ABET modification to their rules now regarding the PEOs. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yes.
Okay, this came on October 27. So you don't have to spend as much energy into PEOs anymore. You just have to show that you have a way of collecting data, but you don't have to show that you're continuously improving this. Okay, so this is our PEOs basically, which is very general, but essentially it is focused around computer science and engineering and so on. So now our complication here, but I don't think it's complication. It's actually
dual review system.
Right. So the problem is that we had student outcomes coming from CAC and from EAC. So what we did is we had our internal set of student outcomes that is a superset of both, and then we mapped whatever, right? So now what we did is we split those into student. I'll show you the FCAR actually. Let me just go to this. We split the student outcomes into phrases. So I'll give you an example. If you go to the student outcomes, let me just go through it. Okay, here we go. Okay, here. So you can see these are student outcome indicators. So we split them into students can apply knowledge of science and engineering here. Or for example, here can design or conduct experiments and can analyze and interpret data. This is one student outcome we split.
You made them two.
Right.
To match.
Exactly.
The two kind of things.
Right. But and then we do the assessment at this level. Now, let me show you a copy of the, so we do this, let me go back here, and I'll show you how we do the assessment. We have two levels of assessment, the course embedded, which is basically the instructor, and I'll show you the FCAR, there's a report sheet that we use. And then there are the rubrics, which mainly we use for student design projects. So what we have is a demo at the end of the year where we invite people from industry and our faculty to come and visit the posters, and they have the rubric with them. And the rubric, I can show you the rubric. It's designed actually to cover these student outcome indicators that we specify for the senior design project. And we try to put as much information in the rubric so that you want to have something called the rater consistency, which means that if you have 3 different people, they would not rate based on different scales. So we specify the scales very carefully. Mm-hmm. And ABET, I went through several assessment workshops with ABET. They tell you very carefully how to phrase these things and how many units on the scale to use and all of those things. So it's a whole science in itself. Mm-hmm. So we spend a lot of time on this. So this is, for example, our coverage. So our philosophy in CSE is to use a very small set of courses for assessment. Only one of those courses is a lower division course. All the others are upper division courses. And the ABET guideline says you want 1 indirect and 1 direct assessment per student outcome. We went a little bit further and we had 2, sometimes 3, in this case 4, but I think that's too much in my opinion. So I would be happy with 2 direct or 2 courses covering each student outcome. Now notice that we do the assessment now here at the indicator level. We don't do it at the student outcome level. And ABET is perfectly happy with that. You don't even need to add those 3 numbers, for example, to cover student outcome A. You just do it at that level, as long as there is coverage, right? I guess you know about this, right? You've been dealing with these kind of things. Now, computer engineering is a bit different, both in terms of scope and philosophy, because it is assessed only by EAC. But also in the philosophy, they use maximal coverage. So until I joined in fall quarter, they had every course submit an FCAR, a faculty course assessment report. And then they had a lot of data. So let me show you. I think I have it here somewhere. Sorry. Let me just, okay. Oh, this is actually our plan of study for engineering. Let me just go back here and look at my slides. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, I'll show you how much. Okay. So this is what our table looked like. And you can see it's very busy. So first of all, the assessment was done at the student outcome level, which in my opinion is too abstract for instructors to be able to tell anything. And then for each one, I had all this data that I had to really use. And honestly, ABET tells you don't do that, because they don't like to see averages of averages. They start asking questions. Well, why is it very well achieved in here, but here it's not? And some of them are lower division courses. You don't expect students to know certain skills so early in their tenure as students. So there was many problems with this. Now, there was one good thing about it, which is if you notice some problem with your curriculum, you can pinpoint a specific course where the problem is. And then you can go and fix that. Whereas if you had only a small set of courses, you may not be able to have as fine-grained diagnosis as possible. But on the other hand, weighing the pros and the cons, I reduced it significantly. So I have now no more than 2 courses per. So if you see, this is our assessment, for example, plan. So for each student outcome, you essentially have maybe 2 courses, at most 3 for each outcome. And then I try to mix it so that you can have an F-card embedded and maybe a rubric. So it depends on the specific outcome, the student outcome. Now, the other thing that I think makes a lot of sense to do in ABET is actually, let me switch to the other presentation here, and is really to do it at not only at the indicator, but at the skill level. And so, so here. If you look at, let's say you're an instructor for a course that is used for assessment. Let's say this course is strength of material. This is the example ABET gives. Then there are topics there, and within the topics there are skills. Okay? And so it is better to do the assessment at the skill level, because that is a very concrete item that you could use, very easily measure. And then you can relate that to really a student outcome indicator or even a student outcome. Okay? So these are, you can call it performance indicators as well. So I give an example that is more closer to VLSI design, for example. So let's say one of the student outcome indicators is students can identify what variables affect the delay and power consumption. Let me just go back here. So students can demonstrate an ability to identify, formulate, and solve engineering problems. So performance indicators, you split it out, and then these are the performance indicators. Now, for that course, if you're teaching a VLSI design course, you can specifically be more specific about that and translate it into this. Take an inverter, and the students can actually do this. Now, it becomes very easy for the instructor to do the assessment at this level, rather than telling him an abstract expression, something like this. Okay? So I think if you do it at the skill level, it makes it a lot easier for the instructor and a lot less painful. Because the biggest problem is what I show you here. This is what ends up happening. This is the ABET lead person. He's doing all the work, and the faculty are just looking and, encouraging, but that's about it. So you want everybody to be working. And you do give them very specific tasks pertinent to their courses, and they will deliver to you. So that's, and don't involve everybody. Involve only the key faculty. Make it simple for yourself, and I think ABET will be happy with. ABET doesn't like to see a lot of data, but they like to see just enough data.
Yes.
And this is believed from experience of, I've been through 8 ABET visits in my tenure since ABET introduced this ABET 2000 new process, and I constantly see it all the time. The other thing that you want to do, it's very important, is don't be shy of duplicating material. For example, we probably do the same thing. We prepare student outcome binders, A through K.
Yes.
And put just enough material in that. Don't put too much material, put just enough material there. For example, you don't have to put sample of student work. You don't have to put low, medium, high in each student outcome binder. You can just put the typical, and then you have another folder for the courses, and they can go there and see it. So they don't like to be bombarded with a lot of material. And the other example is if you have if you do like a course assessment report, a form, don't put the full form in that folder for a student outcome. Maybe just pull out the page that has the, for example, outcome A, student outcome A. Pull out just the part of it that has that. So, I mean, these were comments that I give when I go visit and assess programs, and when visitors come and assess my program, they tell me the same thing as well. So, I mean, these little details can be very important, because this team is coming in, and let's say they come on the day before. That's where they sit down and make all their decisions. They're going to sit down and go through the binders, and if they see something that they have to cross-reference too many points to get to what they want to see, they start kind of getting antsy and unhappy, and you don't want them to be unhappy. So, it's a whole strategy of how you kind of move from this is the material to how we present it, and it's very important that you follow some guidelines of that sort. And I mean, it's hard to really give general advice, but once you have a system going, it'd be good to have people come and take a look at it and give you this kind of little advices that would help you pass with flying colors.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
If you need more, I can talk more. If you feel we can, we can do. يعني زي ما بتحبوا.
يعني أنا عامل نفس الشيء اللي هي يعني عامل divide outcomes إلى sub outcomes اللي هي indicators.
Yes.
Indicators.
Yeah, exactly.
وتوزعت على الرايت فريز عشان يعملوا تشيك وين بتغطيها. هذه عملية أسهل.
طبعا أكيد.
بتعطيك دقة أفضل. أكثر. حتى على الأسسمنت بتعطيك اللي هو يعني فعلا تقيس بشكل صح.
Yeah. بس عندك تستعمل how do you do the coverage؟ في عندك do you do it for all the courses ولا؟
يعني تستخدم اللي هو
بعض أحسن.
أنا بس هو الكلام اللي بقول
I believe that.
إحنا لسه ما عم نستابلش الإمبروفمنت
بس بداية بداية الطريق خلينا.
أهم شيء هو البداية. You do it right and
you're on your way. عملية الأسسمنت الصحيحة يعني كانت جيدة يعني. تقدر أي instructor يعني يأخذها من بداية إنه يعرف كيف يحط الكويشنز، حتى هذه الكويشن تغطي مثلا الإكزامز والأموير etc. كيف تغطي بعض اللي هو الأوتكمز. في نهاية المطاف يوم ما يجي بحط العلامات وبعدين بعمل عملية أسسمنت. بيطلع عندك التارجت.
أكيد.
إما التارجت بدك يعني يكون ضمن الرينج أو يكون أقل، بدك تعمل أكشن بلان تشوف وين المشكلة البروبلمز. فيعني إن شاء الله يعني كويس الشغل.
هلا في أسئلة كمان بيصيروا يسألوها about إذا عندك مثلا coverage. I'll give you an example.
عبد الرحمن برا خليه.
إذا عندك coverage like this مثلا
هذا ممتاز.
So بس here's the point. يمكن يسألوك well how did you come up with this number? Now how do you weigh this? Do you weigh it by number of students in the course? Do you put a larger weight on lower division versus upper division? And these are all questions that they might ask you. They don't necessarily, in my opinion, as if I'm an ABET reviewer, I may not care for this number. What I would care about is this number here, this one, because this is too low. I don't care if this is high. So I don't even need this. Okay? So try to avoid having too many questions being asked. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And these people would want to latch on something and try to catch you on something. So don't give them that argument.
Sorry, but you mentioned 8 visits. Do you mean as evaluator or?
No, these are. I was the host. I was the recipient.
While at different institutions or what?
No, at Irfan. We've been accredited since 1994. Our accreditation program.
So you mean the periodic 6 years thing, huh?
Yeah,
I see.
Okay. No, at different years I was the lead person so many times.
I see.
يعطيك العافية دكتور.
الله
شكرا دكتور.
إن شاء الله نكون.
We enjoyed it. بارك الله فيك.